YouTube family, what's good with you? It's your boy 2A in the lane. As always, fam, anything I say in this episode, prior episodes, and future episodes is just my personal opinion. Don't take it as fact. Don't take it as law. Always do your own homework and come up with your own conclusions. Right about now, fam, as you go ahead and tap that like button for your boy. If you're new to the channel, I want to say welcome. Come on in. You can join the congregation by smashing that subscribe button and requesting all post notifications. And if you are an existing supporter of this channel, fam, I appreciate you more than you can possibly imagine. You are the reason this channel is anything. All right, fam, let's get this episode rolling. So look, fam, this is an initial impressions video for a gun that is very interesting to me. And that is, and why don't we just bring out the star of the show right out the beginning, the Guncrafters 4 1/4 2011. So look, fam, I'll put up some of the specs up there that you may want to talk about. This is an interesting gun, arguably one of the most interesting guns that I've reviewed on the channel. A lot of times I'll look at a gun and I'll ask myself, who is this gun for, right? Who's the target buyer for this gun? A lot of times it's really easy to see. As an example, I remember when Jacob Gray first launched, right? And nobody had even heard of him. I stumbled on one review, and it wasn't even like a full review, on a small channel that I had never heard of. And I wish I could remember, because I would definitely shout him out. But when I saw that gun, the light went on, and I immediately went to my guys at Kovert and said, look, you got to check these guys out. These guys are producing an all-metal gun that seems to be very well machined, has all the bells and whistles at a $2,500 price point. They should be killing staccato. They should be beating out the P. They should be beating out the C2. They should be beating out the C and the CS. Like, you guys got to check this company out. And sure enough, fast forward a year or two later, Jacob Gray blows up, right? When I looked at the new Cossaint line of guns that I reviewed end of last year, I immediately saw, okay, this is going to be right in the mid-tier. It's going to be competing against the Apache line of guns. It's going to be competing against the Staccato XCs, the Race City 9s of the world. When I got this gun in my hand, I really wasn't sure. Primarily because of a couple of things. Number one, the price point. These guns, depending on what model you get, are going to be right at the upper end of that mid-tier, kind of $5,500 to $6,000, and right at the start of that high-end tier. And so, you know, it's kind of more expensive than most of the guns that are kind of in that mid-tier. It's kind of a little bit cheaper, but certainly in striking distance of the Hayes of the world, or the Atlases of the world. The 4 1/4 model, I think, kind of, you compare it to an EOS and you say, okay, well, if this is $6,000 and the EOS is $6,500, would I rather put $500 and get the EOS? Who is this gun for? I'll say that just off the rip, I think the fact that it doesn't have a deleted grip safety, it has a bushing barrel, it doesn't have a toolless guide rod. Not that this isn't a high quality bushing barrel, it is, but the fact that it's a bushing barrel versus a bull. Now they are coming out with a bull version, so stand by for that. And it's almost $6,000. I really wasn't sure about it. And then it kind of occurred to me. The other thing is, it doesn't have a full length dust cover. As you can see here, it's certainly less pronounced on the 4¼ model, more pronounced on the 4.6 and the 5-inch. And it occurred to me who the buyer was, in my opinion. If you were somebody, if you were a 1911 guy, and you don't like all of the fancy smashy infinity kind of guns, or even like some of the more stylistic guns like the Venom Customs of the world and that kind of thing, you want something that is more an old school vibe or retro vibe, but you want to get into that 2011 double stack kind of world, I think Guncrafters could be the gun for you. I will say this, it feels phenomenal. It is very well balanced. It's very well weighted. The machining on it is really, really good. When I think about it, like how it feels in hand, it has a kind of Nighthawk feel to me in terms of the quality of the construction. You know, very little take up on that trigger. Smooth, clean break. Short reset. I think it's a very good looking gun, especially the 4¼ I'll put up some pictures because they also make like a camo version that's very unique, very kind of sexy looking. You know, I think that's who the buyer is. Like I said, if you're a guy who really digs kind of the traditional 1911 look without that full dust cover, maybe kind of a little more narrow type of gun, but you want the capacity of that double stack, I think Guncrafters could be the gun for you. The grip feels phenomenal. It feels great in the hands. I have no doubt this is a very well constructed gun, and I haven't shot it yet. But if you just handle enough of these guns, after a while, you can kind of feel when you have something that's quality in your hands. And I don't think there's any doubt about that. But look, we're going to get this gun out to the range. We're going to put a lot of rounds through it. And we're going to put it through its paces. Now, this is kind of a one-off prototype gun. Kovert has a few of these if you're interested. There is going to be like a Kovert version, like I said, that has a bull barrel, that has some of the other kind of things that you would want, something where they've deleted and blended that grip safety. But look, as you see it here, I think it's a vibe. I think it's a vibe. I don't think it's the 2011 for everybody, but I do think there is a market out there for those people who love that 1911 look, who feel like the race gun look 2011 is not their jam. They want something a little more modest, a little bit more classy, a little bit more retro. This is probably the gun for them, but only if it's a good shooter. Only if it's a good shooter, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But we're going to get this gun out on the range. We're going to put a lot of rounds through it. We're going to test accuracy. We're going to see if that trigger holds up and how it shoots. It feels so well constructed. I have a hard time believing it's not going to be a good shoot, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. The full review will be coming soon. Make sure you stay tuned and keep an eye out for it. All right. That's it for this episode, fam. Until next time, as always, take care of one another and peace.